we tell their story so that generations yet unborn will never forget.
Today, political leaders, families, and survivors gathered for a day of remembrance in Lower Manhattan as President Obama officially dedicated the 9/11 Memorial and Museum. We'll have a look at the inspiring stories and the message of hope that came out of today's tribute. And New York Republicans have made their pick. Westchester County Executive Rob Astorino preparing for an aggressive campaign to unseat Governor Andrew Cuomo. Most people don't even know who Astorino is outside of Lower Hudson Valley. The question is, does he really have what it takes to kick Cuomo out of office? And today, Veteran Affairs Chief Eric Shinseki sat in the hot seat to answer tough questions about deadly delays in treatment for America's war veterans seeking help from the VA. Now, despite the scandal, Shinseki, he's digging in his heels, refusing to step down. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to RFL. I'm Richard French. Thank you so much for joining us this Thursday evening, May 15th. And tonight, we begin, of course, in Lower Manhattan, where today, after much anticipation and delay, President Obama officially dedicated the National 9/11 Museum and Memorial. The museum that rests at the site of the World Trade Center is what President Obama called a, quote, sacred place of healing, end quote. It's a place where the memories of heroes, survivors, and victims of the tragedy will forever live on. Reporter Samantha Liebman has more.
It was a somber ceremony that showed the various and touching aspects of the museum as well as the people connected to them, but at the same time it also showed the hope and inspiration that came out of the events of 9/11. The National 9/11 Museum dedicated Thursday, almost 13 years after the events of September 11th. Former and current elected officials along with the president attending the somber dedication, a tribute in music and speeches to the almost 3,000 people killed.
Here, we tell their story so that generations yet unborn will never forget.
The museum, a powerful reminder of those people and that day.
Walking through this museum can be difficult at times, but it is impossible to leave without feeling inspired.
From survivors to first responders and recovery workers to victims' families, many donated some of the 10,000 artifacts in the museum, like the red bandana Wells Crowther wore as he helped others to safety.
It is our greatest hope that when people come here and see Wells's red bandana, they will remember how people helped each other that day. And we hope that they will be inspired to do the same.
And the shoes Florence Jones took off to escape from the 77th floor of the South Tower.
I wanted my nieces and my nephew and every person that asked what happened to see them and maybe understand a little bit better what it felt like to be us on that day.
Inspiring and hopeful, showing humanity at its worst and its best.
What this museum does is allow us to see is that we absolutely can affect each other's lives by what we do at a time of crisis, how we are strengthened by what was done that day.
Now, this dedication kicks off a 6-day period in which first responders, recovery workers, victims' families, as well as survivors can visit the museum privately before it opens to the public on May 21st. For now, that's the latest here in Lower Manhattan. I'm Samantha Liebman. We'll send it back to you, Rich.
Flags are flying at half-staff outside of the memorial today, where the names of the victims of the tragedy are engraved in bronze panels. And today, the president, he also thanked the first responders and everyday Americans who stepped up and saved lives on that day for their heroic actions.
To all those who responded with such courage, on behalf of Michelle and myself and the American people, it is an honor for us to join in your memories, to recall and to reflect, but above all, to reaffirm the true spirit of 9/11. Love, compassion, sacrifice, and to enshrine it forever in the heart of our nation. Michelle and I just had the opportunity to join with others on a visit with some of the survivors and families, men and women who inspire us all, and we had a chance to visit some of the exhibits. And I think all who come here will find it to be a profound and moving experience. I want to express our deep gratitude to everybody who was involved in this great undertaking, for bringing us to this day, for giving us this sacred place of healing and of hope.
The museum is somewhat of a time capsule, featuring a clock frozen in time, a melted phone, a watch that was found in the fields in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, that belonged to Todd Beamer, a hero on Flight 93. And the museum also holds the so-called survivor stairs, which hundreds of people used to escape the nightmare that was going on up above.
They were all that separated us from the devastation behind us.
And the museum also features 500 hours of video and film, 23,000 still photographs, and more than 10,000 artifacts.